this video, we'll give you some helpful tricks to ensure a successful installation of your EPiC system. To start with, this system does come pre-torqued from the factory. However, now is your best chance to ensure proper torque on all fasteners prior to installation. If you have a backing nut on a fastener, ensure that you're holding both the nut and the fastener while you apply torque, and check your user manual for proper torque specs for each bolt. As you install your articulating unit to the adapter tubes, keep your user's position in mind. It's helpful to install in the correct height and depth now to save yourself another adjustment down the road. You'll also note that these holes are slightly oversized. This may allow your system to tip forward or backwards a couple of degrees. Ensure both left and right sides are installed in the same position. As always, ensure proper torque as you bolt these things on. As you install your second side, make sure that both sides are installed in the same orientation and angle prior to torquing fully. And now we'll measure side to side on the front and the rear of the articulation unit. Ideally, these measurements will be identical. Make adjustments if they're not. Prior to installing a back support, go ahead and check that both articulating units function as expected. Make any adjustments if they do not. And just as a double check the angle on both tubes to make sure that they're identical side to side. As you install your pelvic plate, ensure that it's in the proper position for your end user now to save yourself an adjustment down the road. You want the top of the plate in between the PSIS and iliac crest of your client. Go ahead and tighten down, but leave yourself some wiggle room for fine-tune adjustments. This plate can make micro adjustments to depth, angle, and pelvic rotation. Install your center plate if you're using the removable pelvic plate. Ensure that both sides are locked in with a thumb screw before you center and tighten that middle plate down. If using a removable plate, once everything's tightened, ensure that it fully removes and installs without trouble. If so, adjust again and make sure that it functions well. And now we can move on to the back support hardware. We want to make sure that this is installed in the same height and angle on both sides. We want to make sure our back support hardware is not pushing the canes outward or pulling them inward so that the articulating units function as expected. Make any adjustments you may need to here to account for this. When properly adjusted, the quick release hardware will have slight side-to-side movement. Once you're happy with the width, go ahead and fully tighten your clamps. Confirm that the articulation functions as expected. If it does not, make adjustments to your hardware and try again. In this case, the back support was sitting behind the posterior pelvic plate, so we are flipping the cane clamp side to correct that. This will push the front of the back support to be even with the front of the posterior pelvic support. Just like we did before, ensure your hardware is not pushing your canes and everything's installed evenly, and we'll try again. Another note here is that the more curve you have to your backrest, the more gap you will need between the posterior pelvic support and the posterior back support. In most cases, 1 inch to 1.5 inches is a good starting point. Remember, as this articulates backwards, it's also articulating downwards, so it may contact if those two parts are too close to each other. We'll go ahead and try our articulation again and make sure it functions as expected. And in this case, something is not happy, so the system's not returning as expected. So we'll make some adjustments to that hardware to correct that. And now everything is good to go here. And we're done with this installation.